Hi, I'm Randy Hollenbeck, and this is the Music Roundtable. Today on the show, we have Mikey Sawyer from post-hardcore band Misfortune.
What's up? What's up, man? Thanks for having me on.
I just wanted to dig into some of your history. What got you involved in music and at what age?
Well, I guess I got like my first like little CD booklet collection thing at like a garage sale, and there was like Green Day, Dookie on there, and there was like some like 50 Cent and Eminem, and all kinds of stuff like that. So I kind of came up on that like playing video games and just reciting the words over and over again, and I eventually like figured out how to put together like string together full songs and stuff. And then when I was like 15 or so in the ninth grade, this kid approached me who played guitar, and he was just like, "Yo, man, like I heard you can sing." And like that you're really good and like we want to get you in our band and stuff. And I was just kind of like, I didn't know where they heard that or where they got that from, but I was like, sure, like I'd love to come to band practice and everything. And then I came, and I really had never written like any original material before, but they were like, let's cover this Rise Against song. And we covered Behind Closed Doors by Rise Against. I was probably like 15 at that time in high school. And then we started playing shows where we played like a couple original songs that were not good at all, but we covered that song, and that shit was really good every time. And then I kind of transitioned from doing that to doing like a solo act, and then also doing like YouTube covers. Like I was real early on doing like raw YouTube covers with like a digital camera and stuff. But I stopped doing that because, for whatever reason, the video production quality wasn't where I wanted it to be doing that type of stuff. And then I kind of, got thrown into a situation with this band Close Your Eyes, where I went on tour with like Victory Records and stuff, and we did some big ass shows and everything. And then once Misfortune got signed, we started like making actual music videos and putting them out on Sumerian Records and stuff. So I kind of just let go of the whole video cover thing, but that was how a lot of people, like at least in my hometown, knew about me and stuff. And yeah, ever since then, I just never really strayed from recording and writing and playing in bands. So
Could you name a few of your musical influences as far as singing?
yeah, as far as singing, I have to admit that early Dance Gavin Dance and Emerosa was kind of integral into like my how I found my voice and stuff. And then obviously the band Issues and Tyler Carter I really liked back in the day. Um, and then let's see. Lyrically, I'm super inspired by Drake. You'll hear a lot of like little one-liners and life talks and shit in my music because I really like Drake. Um, and A Day to Remember. I've always been really big on A Day to Remember. Homesick kind of hit me at that right time in my life where that's just a classic and top five and all that to me. So
Now, how did you form the band Misfortune?
So I formed the band. Basically, I had this song called "The Devil to Have Danger," which featured Tyler Carter at the time, and I was kind of like I was gonna put it out myself and stuff under like a new band, but then Eddie Cano of the band Scarlett O'Hara had approached me because he had heard the song, and he wanted in on the action, even though he had nothing to do with the song. But he was like, "I'm starting up this new band, Misfortune, with Luke Holland and Josh Kikta and all this, and like I want you to be the singer for it, and I want us to drop this song, and like Rise Records is gonna check us out and all this shit." And so so yeah, we basically released that song under the moniker of Misfortune, even though I was the only one that really had anything to do with that song um, from its inception. And people just kind of believed from the internet and from YouTube or Facebook or whatever that like that was our song, and that we were just this band that formed and wrote that song, but that was never really the case. as far as that single goes.
So was this like your solo band and then you just called it Misfortune?
It was kind of like a solo band, but then it turned into like a seven-piece, band and shit. And like basically all the members were all spread out because we met through YouTube and Facebook and stuff. Like we were basically an internet band, is what people called us for a long time. And so, and then we dropped the one song, and people were like, "Oh, they've only put out one song and shit." And then we got signed and stuff. So that was pretty cool.
How did you guys come up with the name for the band, Misfortune?
I didn't come up with the name, but as far as I understand, Luke Holland or something came up with the name, or Eddie, or a combination of them. They just wanted to call it that, and I didn't really get it at first. I didn't really like the name at all because I had another name picked out for what was going to be like my band with Harley and shit. But I kind of like gave in to the whole misfortune thing, and then I'm in love with it now. Like, you know, it is what it is. Like, it's really cool. And obviously, the people that signed us and managed us and stuff, they had a vision and they seen what it could be. So that's cool. So I kind of rode with that.
What city is your band based out of?
Oh man, we've been based out of a lot of places. Most recently, it was Oklahoma City. Right now, I'm living in Salt Lake City, so I kind of just have like my like mobile, remote way of working and stuff. Like we always have. We've always exchanged demos over the internet and worked remotely. So yeah, not much has changed as far as that.
When the pandemic hit and live music shut down for that whole year, what did you do during that time?
During that time, shortly after the pandemic, we released our self-titled album, which is, super appropriate for what was going on through all that. We unfortunately didn't get to like tour off it or anything, but the self-titled is like probably one of my favorite albums. It's such a fun album, and we did it with Andrew Wade out in Ocala, Florida, or Orlando, Florida, and that was a really cool experience. But we dropped that album, and then shortly after that, that fall, we dropped um, a like kind of B-side mixtape type of deal called Cruel Summer, which is just some acoustic tracks and B-sides and stuff that we just put on one, playlist pretty much. So yeah. And then we did a lot of like outreach and stuff. Like we've done a lot of connecting with our fans. We just put out vinyls and stuff. So that's always like really cool whenever you can, send those out to people and gift them to people, or you know, I don't know. This was our first year having vinyls, so that was cool. Or that was 2020.
When live music came back, did you notice like the audience more engaged and energy in the crowd when you played out and stuff?
Yeah, I have noticed that definitely. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's like an all new appreciation, I guess. You know, so that's pretty sweet.
I wanted to dig in a couple of your songs. All All the Lies in the World. It was released in October. It's really catchy and poppy and an upbeat song. And I wanted to ask you, was that like a fun song to sing with all the different vocal phrasing and techniques going on in that song?
Yeah, that's a song that I've literally All the White Lies in the World is a song I've been writing for like the last 9 years in a way, because I wrote that with the original lineup right after A Spark to Believe came out, and we just never did anything with it because it just didn't fit at the time. But after years of reworking it and kind of revisiting it, now that I'm working with some of those old members again, it was really cool to kind of like put a new modern twist on that song and like redo the vocals and polish it up and get it out because no one ever got to hear it before. But I hear kind of a dated version of ourselves in that song a little bit, but I really do like the song.
Yeah, that's like one of my favorites that I've heard so far.
That's sick, man. I'm glad you like it, dude. That song I feel is kind of slept on. Like it's pretty cool. It's a good one. But it's just not like it's not what we have new to offer. That's kind of how I feel about it. Like Backlash, that's kind of the direction we're heading now. Whereas that song is like a almost an anniversary song of like 10 years as a band or something, you know?
Yeah, that's the next song I wanted to ask you about, Backlash. You just released it in January, and there's like a line in it where you say, "Enough with the games that you play. You've been throwing dirt on my name." It feels like, relationship wise, sometimes it feels like people sabotage relationships on purpose. I don't know if you get that feel from that song, but that's what I get.
Yeah, definitely, man. That song, it's not necessarily written from a relationship perspective, although it can be seen that way. It was for me kind of more about like public enemies and people that are gonna try to tear at your name and try to, break your stride and shit. And just not letting it get to you, you know?
What do you have planned for 2022?
So we've been working on a new album for the last year and a half. It's called Gravity's Rainbow. We've been kind of teasing it a little bit, and we dropped a couple songs. Those songs you mentioned are a part of it, and that's kind of the next move. We're just waiting for the right opportunity, I guess, the right window of opportunity to release it, and we're just still waiting on a couple things with like the artwork and everything, but it's coming along great.
And then will you tour after you release that album?
Yeah, that's the plan. We have been rehearsing and stuff and getting ourselves together for like playing live, and so these new songs will be included as well as like some old great songs that we've put out through the years.
How can we get a hold of you guys? Twitter, Facebook, Instagram?
So we're at twitter.com/misfortune. That's MISSFORTUNE. Facebook is the same, although it's Misfortune Official. Instagram.com/misfortune official and TikTok.com/misfortune official. And YouTube is the same as well.
When do you expect your new album to be released?
I don't have a firm release date right now, but I can tell you that we're producing the album ourselves and we're putting a lot of time and effort into it because we work with some really great producers and some big names in the industry. And so if we're going to release something that we're doing ourselves, it's got to like really be up to like a next level. And the guys I'm working with, they're the people that helped me create A Spark to Believe, which people are still talking about to this day. And so I'm really stoked about like the direction we're heading right now, and also trying to be original while still, giving people a little bit of what they loved about that era. You know,
That's all the questions I have. Thank you for coming on the show today. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
of course, Randy. Thanks for having me, man, and just shout out to everyone that's been listening and streaming, and we really appreciate your support and thank you so much.
You never know what you're capable of until you try. But there's no time to waste. Too late, you've wasted all your life. I know it's hard to face, but sometimes some things are out of our reach. Let's turn the page and try to remain what made us special in the first place. If ever